Today's episode is going to be an update from me as well as a listener question about logos on your website and what we would call an as featured in or a PR media page. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Before we get started today, I need to give a shout out to my favorite EMR and practice management software, JaneApp, what is also the sponsor of today's show. You might already be familiar with the name, but if it's new to you, Jane is a HIPAA-compliant clinic management software and EMR and the sponsor of Up in My Business. Chasing down patients or clients for important information isn't anyone's idea of a good time, especially when there are forms to be filled out, payments to be processed, and consents to be collected. And that's why Jane has designed user-friendly online intake forms so you can gather all the information you need ahead of the appointment. It really is the best, you guys. Whether that's health history, insurance details, or a credit card on file, super, super important there. Jane will even send a friendly reminder 24 hours prior to a patient's appointment if they haven't completed their intake form yet. This saves you from having to manually follow up on your end. To see Jane in action, head to my show notes to book a personalized demo, or if you're ready to get started, you can use the code LEX1MO at the time of sign up for a 1-month grace period applied to your new Jane account. Alrighty, friends, welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I'm your host, Lex Lancaster. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not new and you're a longtime listener, I appreciate you. I also hear from my people who tell me, hey, I have been binging your podcast lately because I heard about you from, so and so forth. And welcome. Thank you so much to anyone who listens to the podcast. I truly appreciate it. You know that I record this essentially talking to myself in my office, and I just love hearing that people are really enjoying the podcast. So thank you so much. If you feel compelled to leave a review, it does help the podcast. So if you feel like you could do that on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to this, I would genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so, so much in advance. And if you have episode requests, let me know. I love to hear from you. Before we jump into the actual episode itself, which will just be a Q&A, I'm going to answer a question that came in from someone who wants an answer about a website question. And before we jump in, as I was saying, we're going to go over life and business updates. Life end, nothing too crazy here. Unfortunately, California is having like an October gray, which is weird. Not really a fan. We don't really have the October gray typically. It's usually sunny and beautiful here in September and October, and it just has not been that way this month, which is super unfortunate. I sit here complaining knowing that a hurricane hit, so also feeling really terrible to see all of the destruction that basically left in its path. We did end up going, and I say that when I follow this up, but our friend is from St. Pete in Florida. And so she was telling us about, the destruction in her home, or not her home, but her area when we were together, when we were going to watch her last weekend in Miami. So if you did listen to the podcast last week, you knew that we were basically on the fence. I recorded the episode on Wednesday because we had no idea if we were actually going to go to Miami. We did end up booking the tickets last minute. We went to Miami. Our dog sitter was available. Moose went on a longer vacation than we did. Moose ended up hiking in Yosemite. And that was amazing. So our dog sitter is so good. But we ended up going to Miami, had a great time. I will say it's really hot in Miami. I am definitely not, I could never live there. It's just so freaking muggy. I will take the heat, the lack of heat, if you will, here any day. The one thing that was really nice was being able to go outside at night without a jacket on. That's something that we don't really get to do in Southern California near the beach because it's just cold at night. So I do miss the warm nights, but other than that, like I can go there for a couple days and come home, and that feels great. But Miami was great. We watched our friend Kim play in King and Queen of the Court. She came in third, and it was just a great time. We got to meet some new people and connect with actually a couple people who are local to here. So it was really good overall. And we had some great dinner. We had some Cuban food. I actually like Cuban food a lot. I told Shantae and she's like, well, when we're in Miami, we have to go. So we did. We went 2 nights in a row to get Cuban food and it was delicious. So no regrets there. The trip itself was really good. We did end up going, I have a photo of where we flew. We literally flew around the hurricane, and it's just kind of wild to me that, you know, however many miles that was southwest, if you will, it was just fine. We did go through some turbulence, and I don't know if that was related or not, but either way, really grateful that we were able to go, and, you know, just that we also can afford to go and have the time to go and all the things. Just really, really grateful. So that's that part. Other than that, we have Boss Up. So Shantae and Jill are hosting Boss Up. If you want a last minute ticket, they are still on sale. I'll put the link in the show notes, but Boss Up is happening next Thursday and Friday in, it's Redondo Beach, California. I can't remember. I didn't know if they were having it in Manhattan or Redondo on the top of my head. But anyway, it's in Redondo Beach. It's going to be the best live event, period. So if you are interested in coming to a live event and meeting a bunch of really dope people, I highly suggest you grab a last minute ticket and book the flight. I know that not everyone with the flight prices the way they are and God knows what else arrangements have to take place, but really, really recommend you go if you can swing it. It'll be the best conference, best in-person event that you will get to go to ever. So personal stuff, I mean, we're just basically hanging this weekend. We still doing like our date night, if you will, but just some of the date nights are just in the house. Like we've both decided to just chill. And tonight we're going to get takeout from somewhere instead of cooking. I'm recording this on Saturday night. And then obviously we have volleyball, what have you, like normal. But other than that, really nothing too crazy. Business wise, I am officially down to 1 do it in a day left this year. So if you're looking to get a new website, SEO signature start, any sort of long haul, if you will, long hour tech consult, course build out, whatever it may be, my service brochure is going to be linked in the show notes as well. But I officially have 1 left for 2024. Otherwise, I'm booking into 2025. I am just really taking my time very seriously as far as not overbooking myself. And over the next 3 months, the amount of time that I'm just not even going to be at my desk because we're traveling for family stuff is just unreal. So 1 more left. And once that goes, I don't have more availability. So if you want it, let me know. I have a few discovery calls this week. I know that I am booking into October, November for any sort of coaching call, discovery call. So make sure you get a spot on my calendar. I know that Q4 people like to do things last minute, and honestly, it's not going to work for December just because most of December I'm taking off. So just know that you need to get your stuff done and get on the schedule if you want to be here. Also have some big behind the scenes stuff happening. Really, really excited to share that when I can or when I want to. Just getting some things in line for some business. I'm going to say there's just new things that are coming down the pipeline. And then before we jump into the episode, one more thing. Lextramind applications will open on September 21st and close on September 25th. So if you're interested in joining the Lextramind with Shantae and I, it is our 9-month, which is super, super long, and we get so much done, and it's so, so fun. It's our 9-month high-touch mentorship that combines online business coaching and done-with-you tech solutions to help brick-and-mortar health and wellness business owners launch their digital products and services. And like, I don't even have words. I was reading through the testimonials that we got from our cohort 1. And if any of you listen to this podcast still, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And we just get so much done in those 9 months. So if you're interested in starting to offer some online offers or have a digital product, join the Lextramind. It is the best place to be if you are looking to get started in the online business world. All right, let's jump into the episode. It's going to be pretty short, but I want to answer this question that came in about logos on your website. So I'm going to read the actual question and then I'll answer. So Hi Lex, can you possibly do a podcast episode about having logos on your website from places you've been featured? I see so many people use these where it says as featured in ... and then they will have a bunch of logos from magazines, universities, etc. I'd love to know, are these valuable and needed on your site? 2, how to go about getting these. Do you ask the university you lectured for to provide their logo for you to use? How do you explain what you're using them for? What type of work or relationship with a brand or organization constitute using a logo in this way on your site? So I'll just go one by one because it's easiest to do it that way. So number 1, are these valuable and needed on your site? It can be valuable for credibility. So if you have a certain certification, if you've spoken at a university, if you have an article published in a magazine, it can be really valuable to have that credibility, right? So that's number 1. 2, it is great for SEO. So if you have a link on your website that links to another website that is, yes, an upvote for them, but it's also saying like, I am connected to this person, this company. Ideally, they also have something linking back to you. Typically, that's not, possible with a random lecture you've done. But if you've been featured in a magazine, ideally, if they have an online version of that, you have a link to your website on that article. Or if you have a certification and they have a provider profile with that certification, like I'm thinking any of the, Herman and Wallace Pelvic Health, they have a provider directory. Ideally, you have your website in that provider directory, and then that website is now linking to your website. So it's not necessarily needed, but it is valuable. It provides a lot of credibility. And typically people aren't just like throwing random logos on their website. If they are, it's kind of problematic. So yes, valuable. It's not absolutely mandatory, but can be very, very helpful. Number 2, how to go about getting these. So basically, do you ask them? So the thing is, if it's a university logo or a logo of a company, you can just pull their logo off of Google as long as it's high resolution. I cannot tell you how many times I see people with these blurry ass logos with backgrounds on them. And it's like their website colors are green, blue, and gray, and then the logo color is red. And I'm like, this is not helpful. This looks bad. Meaning the background of the logo, or the background of the logo is black and you need it to be transparent because it's on a white background. So either way, what I'm saying here is if you can find a logo for whatever company it is or whatever place it is online that is on Google and it's high resolution, meaning it's not blurry and it has an invisible background, so it's a PNG file, amazing. If not, you can reach out to them. So typically people will just send an email and say, hey, I was so happy to be featured in your magazine, or I'm so happy to be a lecturer at your university, or I am so happy that I was able to complete this certification. I would love to have the logo to put on my website in order to help advertise for your company, but also to help my business and show credibility on my website. Something like that. Magazines typically don't have a problem, and usually you can find that online easily. The other thing that you usually get when you complete a certification is a package of logos. So I know a lot of businesses do it. I know like Tracy Shares Pelvic Guru, they give you a logo to put on your website if you are certified, I believe. Now I'm second guessing myself. I know Brianna Battles does. I know Herman and Wallace does. I know Rock Tape. You can do Rock Tape stuff. Precision Nutrition does. So either way, and I know Molly Galbraith offers one through Girls Gone Strong. So if people give you a package, meaning they say, here's all of our logos, here's the specific accreditation that you get, like IDN, the Integrative Kinetic Dry Needling, Integrative Dry Needling, IDN. Integrative Dry Needling, they give you a logo for the specific course that you completed. So whatever they give you for the course, you can use that logo. That's the whole point. They're like, hey, you can go ahead and put this on your provider page or on your about page, what have you, on your website because you completed the course. So that's essentially what you do. If you can't find it, then reach out to a company. I have a lot of people who have reached out to companies. If someone makes you pay, say no. Like you don't need to pay to have the logo. The whole point of having the logo is to advertise for them. And most likely you've already provided them with something, be it money to take their course or, a lecture at their university. So I would just say typically you should not be paying to get these logos on your website. The other logo that people could potentially have is like a best of, and it's like their town or their city. You can put those on your website as well. Now, the third one I've already kind of covered it, but I'll say it again. So what type of work or relationship with a brand or organization constitutes a logo on your website? One, it'd be, are you featured in an article? So were you a published, what is the word I'm looking for? Expert opinion. Were you a published expert within an article? Did they ask you questions and then put what you said into an article? Then that would constitute that. Absolutely. Did you take a specific course and then you're able to put that accreditation on your site? I can never say that word. Put that logo on your site because you took that course. Did you give a lecture, or are you an adjunct professor maybe somewhere, and you can put that on your website? As a PT, it's typically nice to say that you've, been featured in articles, you have these specific certificates, and then typically that's really it for PTs or for health and wellness practitioners. Most people find themselves in media, and they also have the certificates and licenses and what have you that they have. Other than that, it's really it. But the relationship or the work, honestly, is like, are you working with that person? If they contacted you, or would there be record that you worked with that specific person? If you wear Nike shoes, you're not going to put a Nike logo on your website. If you wear Lululemon clothes, you're not going to put a Lululemon logo on your website, right? So it's like, do you have a relationship with that brand or do you not? And sometimes people will have like a referral network, if you will. So like for me, I have a resources page and I have ConvertKit's logo on there. I am an affiliate for ConvertKit, right? So affiliate relationships, you can also put that on there. But as far as like a logo wall, typically it's you were featured in that article or you took that specific course and now you're advertising for that person. And that's really like the type of work or relationship that you should have before you put someone's logo on your website. Now, with all that being said, I also will tell you that if you want to make sure you're doing everything correctly, you can always reach out to the brand or company to get their logo. If you can't, even if you can find it, you just want to make sure you get it from them, that's fine. But typically, if there's a high resolution logo on the internet, I will typically use that one because they also sometimes will have a PR kit on their website, and you can go to that PR kit and they will actually have downloadable files on their website. So it totally depends on the company and the accessibility of all the things, but you can also just email the support desk and they'll typically be super happy to provide it for you. All right. Hope that question was answered. I hope that gives you all of the information that you need. If not, please let me know. And I hope if you did not, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will go ahead and link an Instagram post that I did about this topic and how to make the actual logo wall on your website. I'll put that in the show notes. Otherwise, that's really all I have for you today. As always, thank you so much for listening. I love recording these and I love getting your questions and being able to answer them here because using my voice is so much better than being able or writing, if you will. But I appreciate you. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I will catch you next week.